Good morning, everyone. Let's play some Run 8. We're back in Rice Yard. Like, I have enjoyed this so much, just like doing the trim job, just working in the yard, period, right? And you guys that have watched this, that have watched the channel and see me play Run 8, know that a large majority of the stuff that I've done on here has just been moving road freights, moving over the road from point A to point B. And that's like the most simplistic form of playing Run 8, is just moving a train from point A to point B, right? But there's so much more involved with it than just doing that, right? Like, we're working the yard. There's 50 bazillion different yard jobs we could work down here, right? Right now we've been trimming the yard and building trains. We could do a hostler job and get power over here to some of the trains that we built. I think what we're going to do is basically build a few trains. What I would like to do is we got 684 ready, so that's a big boy right there. That's a big one. I want to get 684 built and 592 and 544. Those are the ones I want to get built. And probably what we will do is just grab a hostler job, grab a whole bunch of engines, take them out there at one time, and then just kind of break them up and put them on the whatever train we want to put them on to go. So that's the plan. And then after we get done playing around in the yard here for a bit, in a few videos, I think we're going to run some locals. This is the one that I really want to work right here. It's a 723, 724. Long distance locals between Waycross and Manchester way back in the day, right? We're talking 20 years ago. My time period, like what I consider this right now in game and what I'm kind of running towards, is 2002. So you're talking 22 years ago, guys, like pushing 25. It's been a long time, and a lot has changed. But you guys have been awesome. You've been left a lot of comments. You've been gracious enough to tell me what some of these symbols are, like the B&Ks. The B&Ks, I couldn't remember. I was drawing a complete total blank on those, and someone said that could be Brunswick, right? And I was like, there you go, right? That's Brunswick. Absolutely. B&Ks of Brunswick. Would be running on a local out of here back in the day. I don't know how they do it now, but that's how we're going to do it. So what else? Someone from the depot was kind enough to leave a comment and give me some rundown on their ops and like how they came about doing some of this stuff, because they do more current. It may not be like completely current ops, but it is definitely way more recent than 2002. So, and that's the cool thing about it. Like, I like kind of exploring like what it was back then versus like what it is now, or just a little bit ago, right? So, because it can change vastly. Like, the landscape of railroading can change in the blink of an eye as far as like how this stuff works. It can change day to day. I mean, really, it can change day to day. I remember just in the time period that I worked, they're constantly like moving trains around and doing different things with them. So I mean, it's a very fluid situation, it's very fluid how they do this. All right, anyway, I digress. We're back in the bowl. Let's see, what were we doing? So we had these bib cars. These are Birmingham BN cars. So we're going to put these on the head end of the 592. We've talked about this a bazillion times. They were stuck on the head end of 592 back in the day, and then the rest of the train was Chicago's. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab Chicago's and attack them on the bottom of these BNs. And we'll call that one good. I think we'll call that one good. Then the next one we got to see about after that, we got to pull these Cincinnatis. We got 3 tracks of Cincinnatis to pull and an Atlanta cut. So we'll pull these Cincinnatis, 1, 2, 3, gather them all together, shove them in, and then tack the Atlantas on the bottom. And we'll call that a 544. Of course, there was a dedicated Waycross to Atlanta train that we could do as well too. But I think this would be a good cut to just, it's not huge, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of them. So I think this would be a good train to, this would be a good train to put those Atlantas on and just go ahead and get them out of here. All right, so that's going to be our plan. Let's get this guy started up. Consider Y192. So as you guys know, like, I've been trying to sort through this stuff in my mind. Like I said, it has been 22 years. And I didn't know much about anything back then either. Like I said, I don't ever consider myself a railroader. I really just wasn't. I just did the job. But I've been trying to sort through my head, like, how did this stuff work back then? What did they do, you know? And some of it I'm very crystal clear on, and some of it I'm fuzzy. Like, one aspect I would be really fuzzy on would be the Fitzgerald locals. Like, I just don't remember hearing Fitzgerald locals down there to save my life. Probably more than likely it's because I just didn't care at the time, right? It wasn't a noteworthy thing to me. You know, I didn't care. Right? I just didn't pay attention to that stuff. I didn't really care. So that could be why I don't remember. I could have swore I remember hearing a yard job down there. But the thing about yard jobs is they're a dime a dozen, right? There's like a bazillion Y101s on CSX. Every yard job I ever worked was a Y101. It didn't matter if it was day or night. If I worked the night job at the paper mill, it was Y101. If I worked a yard job at LaGrange, Georgia, switching industries, it was the Y101. So it's kind of easy to like get those stuck in your brain, because like it wasn't uncommon to hear those out and about wherever on the railroad, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this website called The Bullsheet. It was around for years. It's basically a CSX non-affiliated, just some guy did this site on his own. But it was like a CSX news and rail fan site. They kept track of rosters and paint schemes and just any and everything that a rail fan could possibly want if you're interested in that particular railroad. They did it. And it was a super cool and impressive site. Always liked what he did with that. It was so informative. I guess you would call it like a newsletter, right? Like a very early digital newsletter. Maybe it was a newsletter like originally before the internet, but either way, it's like a newsletter. So if you're a rail fan, you look at this stuff and it would kind of keep you up on what was going on with the railroad. Where are we going? We're going to these Chicagos right here. So what we need to do is go. Yeah, we got a little ways to. All right, so we need to keep. Yeah, we need to keep going. We need to go all the way down to here just to get over. Okay, all right, we can do that. So anyway, a newsletter. And one of the great things about the Bullsheet, if you're not familiar with it, was that they put symbols on there. This, I don't know how the dude did it. I don't know if he had a contact in the railroad, but he updated the symbols that CSX was running literally for years. Now, the Bullsheet stopped being published, gosh, a long time ago, a super long time ago, but it's still up. Like, he's got it available, but I don't think it's updated anymore, any of that stuff. So if you go to the Bullsheet, you can find some 2001 symbols, 2004. The earliest local symbols you can find is 2010, which, I mean, still 12 years ago, but doesn't go back to my time. So I look at the 2010 locals trying to figure out, like, you know, how was this stuff in my mind? And I look at them and like several are missing. Like, it changed so much just between 02 and 2010 is ridiculous, right? Like, some of them were obviously not the same. Some of them were just completely gone. Like the Fulco switchers were gone. That was sold off to Omnitrax or leased to them or whatever CSX did. I wish they had done that when I worked for the railroad, because I hated those jobs. They sucked like no damn tomorrow. But anyway, those were gone, and like the limits on several locals I worked had changed, which is par for the course, right? They're changing limits around all the time. So, but I looked at the 2010 listings, and I'm like, you know, they used to have a lot more than this. They used to have a lot more than that for years and years and years. As far as the symbols and stuff, and I got to thinking on it, and I just had an epiphany one morning, right? I had an epiphany. I was like, I know exactly what I could do to find this information, and it's probably going to work. And that's the Wayback Machine. You know, I don't think about the Wayback Machine a lot because I don't need archive web records very often, right? So I went to the Wayback Machine. And there's like 17,000 captures of the bullshit over the years, all the way back to 1998. It is like a treasure trove of information if you're into that stuff. So I went way back. Went way back to 2002. Has all the information, all the locals, all 1998 has the locals, 1999, everything, all the way up until whatever was the last year they updated it. So I go to 2002 locals, Georgia locals, and I looked at Fitzgerald, and it was, in fact, the A726. It was the A726. I don't remember that number to save my life. I don't remember hearing him out there. But like I said, more likely it's because I just didn't care, right? I wasn't like, believe it or not, I wasn't that huge of a rail fan when I did the job. It was just a job. I know that sounds really cliche, right? Like you're just doing a job, but I wasn't really interested. Like I like trains, I like machines. I'm always fascinated by machines, right? But I wasn't diehard into it. I did the job and I went home and I didn't think anything else about it, you know. The only time I think I kind of got a little bit excited about something on the railroad was one time I was going to catch a train that had the remaining chassis GP40 on this, the remaining chassis scheme period on the entire railroad. I was going to catch it on something. I can't remember what. It was up in Atlanta. And I thought there was a chance I was going to catch it. And the reason why it was important to me is because my wife, Mrs. Spur, is a huge fan of chassis. She loved that paint scheme. She thinks it's the coolest paint scheme ever. And so she was wanting to see it. And unfortunately, it didn't work out, right? It didn't work out. We didn't get to see it. It went somewhere else instead of coming on down to where I was at. So, which, I mean, that's what happens. But for the most part, I really just didn't care. I didn't care. But either way, long story short, A726 was in Fitzgerald in 2002 and even 1998. So that is the local. I got to go back and we'll take the yard job back out because I've been tweaking the save, right, as far as what we got. But it's got it. I'm trying to remember what the limits were, what it said, because it tells the limits of it. It wasn't Rebecca. It wasn't Rebecca. It wasn't to Rebecca. It went down south. I can't remember. It didn't mention the Oscilla Spur, but I would imagine it could possibly be one of those deals where they go down the Oscilla Spur on like certain days of the week. Kind of like a 714 hour work. Talladega switcher, right? That job was a 70-mile turn, but we didn't do the 70 miles every day. We did the 70 miles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday and Thursday were short days. Sometimes. It didn't always work out that way, but that's kind of the way you plan that stuff out, right? Short days on Tuesday and Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're doing the long trip. So it could possibly be like that, right? It'd be like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they work in Fitzgerald because there's a ton of industries, and then Tuesday and Thursday they go down to a Oscilla branch. Or, you know, I mean, there's like 50 bazillion different variations of that they could have done. It's really hard to say, right? Like that's the thing I want to express to you guys that are like into this, but like don't have firsthand experience, is like how fluid things could be as far as like how you did the job. You know, it could change all the time. So either way, crisis averted. We figured out it is in fact A726. Also, the sand turn worked out of Manchester back then too, which I remember that now. I totally remember that. Instead, like now, current day ops, it runs out of Oglethorpe, but back in the day, it actually ran out of Manchester. But I want to say they kept their power in brown sand, because I remember having a work train once with two B30-7s on it, and one of them died, and we had to stop in brown sand, and we got one of their units off of the sand turn. They had 3 units, so we took one. We took one with us. So I don't know, like you know, that could have been a one-off. That could have been a regular thing. It's hard to say. I never worked the sand turn. That was a Fitzgerald job. So I never bothered with it. Actually, you know what? We're going to stop this guy right here. Never worked sand turn, so I couldn't say for sure. It's like another local, this 714, the Talladega Switcher. You know, they, that conductor, that guy that worked that job for years and years and years, sometimes he would tie down in Lineville, Alabama in front of his house. On the side, like in a, I think a Poltwood spur or something down there. Like they wouldn't even go, you know, I like it's crazy. I don't know if it's like that nowadays, but yeah, he would tie down in front of his house sometime. How cool would that be to tie your train down in front of your house and be like, okay, well, I'm done for the day. Just gonna leave the train out there, you know. Like, right? But that happened from time to time. It really did. Even though the job went on duty and off duty, it's at Talladega. All right, let's get this. Let's get this guy stopped. We're gonna shove in, grab that overcut, and then drag everything out and put it on top of the bibs, the BNs. There you go. We'll stop him there. Get our switch. Actually, let's just hop down on the ground and we'll catch up. Up here. Go. All right, let's shove back to a coupling. Just a little bit. About 4 cars, 3 or 4 cars. It's always hard to judge in game. I think it's because it's a game, right? It's on a flat screen. It like really messes with your depth perception or something. Either way, we shove him back. We in the clear. Switches line. Shove him back. We're not doing no safety stop. We're just going to hop down before we couple up. But yeah, I was glad I got that sorted out. I was glad I found the symbols. They even have the Coltrane symbols. Like, they have so much stuff on that website. It is crazy. And then it breaks it down to like what trains went through Waycross on that particular, you know, listing. You know, what trains went through Manchester, what trains went through Fitzgerald, what trains went through Jacksonville. Like, whatever you want to know, they got it. They got it, and it tells the routing, so it's really some of the best information you could possibly get. Now, I totally get why they do current, you know, more current day stuff now, because it's just easier to find, right? It's a wealth of information. Really easy to come by. All right, we're good. I think I knocked the handbrakes off, didn't I? Did I knock the handbrake off? No, I did not. Never mind. Now I did. All right, let's take it ahead. Let's see what we got here. 2,400 tons, 8 loads, 38 empties. That's pretty cool. That's honestly, that's pretty cool because, like I said, of the tonnage difference going in and out of Florida, South Georgia, length 2,800 feet. Nice. Okay, it's a little bit of a train here. And we're going to have to pull this guy all the way. Get those windows open. We can't have those shut on a Spartan cab. We got to have those open. Hey, we'll go with it. All right, we gotta fly down there. Unfortunately, we don't have another man. If we had another man on the ground, this would be super easy. Yeah, we still... It's only, you know, just shy of 3,000 feet, but it seems like a lot of train, right? But it's really not. It's because the tracks are so short. You fill the tracks up, you're like, hey, that's a lot of train, but it's really not. Not much at all. Either way, we'll keep dragging these out. So we're about to come down here to the crossover. And then we got to shove back on this track right here. Yeah, let's line this guy. All right, he's lined on top of the BNs there. We're good there. We're good here. So yeah, all we gotta do is just get this crossover down here. Nice. All right, we can do that. We can totally do that. A little bit fast on us. We don't want to get too fast in the yard. Yeah, I also want to thank you guys for all the comments and the support and stuff like that. I really, really do appreciate it. I love reading the comments. A lot of people have been posting on these videos, so I'm glad you enjoyed, right? Someone posted, we got some railroaders posting over here too, which is super cool. About working RCO jobs. We're kind of talking about RCO jobs in the comments, or remote jobs, and basically the headaches that they are and the problems that they cause. And I will never, you won't ever convince me that a remote job is better than a 2 or 3 man crew doing this, trimming a bowl, right? I remember they put remote zone in the bowl in Boyles in Birmingham. I want to say they had Steel City Crane. It's a crane company there in Birmingham. I want to say they kept a crane there in the yard at the bowl 24/7 for cleanups. Clean up on aisle 10, right? Because they were constantly tearing something up down there. I think the remotes are like inefficient, incredibly inefficient, dangerous as hell, super dangerous. Like I am so glad I never had to fool with that. You know, it's like I told the guy in the comments, I said, I was the last group of conductors hired for where I work that wasn't forced to remote jobs. I never had to. I could qualify on them if I wanted to, but I did not. I did not qualify on them. I had zero desire to qualify on a remote. Like I said, you won't ever convince me that they are efficient and safe. I feel like, can we catch up on this? Because we just can't ride that car. Like these reefers, you just flat out can't ride, right? Like, do they not have attach points or something? But anyway, yeah, you won't ever convince me that a remote will be able to do better than a 3-man, like a 3-man job in the bowl. Man, they could bust so much stuff out, like making moves, and you won't ever convince me otherwise. I feel like, I don't know how it is because remotes have been around for a while now, but when they first came out and people were learning on them and stuff like that, they were so dang inefficient. The yard stayed so jacked up and tied up because they couldn't trim, they couldn't move freight out of the yards because these stupid remotes that they were working with and tearing stuff up and derailing. And it wasn't at the fault of the guys running them, because like it was just a mess. Like it was just a mess all the way around. But that was purely 1000% a money thing. They didn't care about efficiency, they didn't care about safety. It's just a money thing. They just want to save money, right? That's all that's about. Make the shareholders happy. I feel like years and years and years ago, railroads were way more interested in railroading versus pleasing the shareholders, right? And I'm a shareholder. I've got a lot in CSX. So, but I look at it this way. It is what it is. You know, I don't even dwell on that. I just let it do its thing, you know? But, yeah, it was interesting to talk about that. Brought back some memories about yard jobs and that sort of thing. Then how much the remotes sucked, right? Like they really just did. They really sucked. Glad I didn't do them. Oof, we won't hit that hard as hell. I'm afraid. Unless we were to slow down a little bit there. Kind of feathering the independent on and off. I still got to do that video about someone asked about the independent. I just haven't had a chance to yet. Haven't really kind of put together in my head what I want to say, because I'm not an expert on this stuff. I tell you how to do this stuff in Run 8 all the time. I'm not going to tell you how to do it in real life, or like what's the best practice in real life, because I don't know. I don't know, right? But I can get you from point A to point B in Run 8 safely and get your, you know, keep your train intact. That's for sure. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I can do that. Man, we're almost already 30 minutes in. Like I said, if we had a two-man crew, this would be a lot different. Did we tie this down? Yeah, we did tie him down. Let's knock these off real fast. Yeah, we'll walk down there and knock them off while he's coming up here to couple. Sweet. All right, let's shove them on in. Keep shoving. Maybe, that's weird. It looked like we had some air in the line still. Oh, no, that's the... Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong one. Spur's an idiot. Never mind. So... What are we doing here? Have we still got some handbrakes? Is that the problem? We're, 12 lows, 41 empties, 3,200 feet. Why are we dinking around here? Oh. Never mind. It's got handbrake set on all of them. I thought it was going to save the last state where I just had the two tied on the bottom, but I guess it did everything with handbrakes. Yeah, not that big of a 592. No, like we don't have any other Atlantas we could throw on there. Yeah, I don't see any. These Selkirk cars, we'll put those on a 410. Like, we're going to run this guy out of here now, the 592, because it's a little bit past his time. He's supposed to be out of here at about 7 a.m., which is just a suggestion, right? In the yard, you guys know it's just suggested time, right? It's not, hey, it's not a hard number, you know. It's just suggested time. Like I said, I've seen 592s backed up here, like days worth of 592s. It's like the 592 special down here. They had them everywhere because they couldn't get them out of here. But either way, we're going to get him out of here. We're going to get the 544 out of here, and then we'll probably start sitting on some of these other trains. Selkirk train wouldn't be very long. Russell, that needs to go on a the Irwin train. I can't remember what number that was. It's like 692 maybe. Rocky Mount, actually we could put the Rocky Mounts on the 410. We got Rocky Mounts here somewhere. Did we get those out of here? Or, oh, we got Selkirks in the yard already. Oh man, we got a crap ton of Selkirks in the yard actually. We got some Russells. Yeah, we've got a good bit of Russells too here. We got a fair amount. Got a fair amount of Russells. I'm just trying to think. We may have already sent the Rocky Mounts out of here. We could have put the Rocky Mounts on the 410 though. He goes through there. He could have set those off. That could have been a block for him. Yeah, we'll get this guy shoved in. We need to go down towards the end of the track too. We left these Birmingham B-ends here, these bibs. We're gonna have to clean that up. I meant to grab them. I meant to shove them down and make it solid. I forgot, so we may just take the hump engines, drop down in here and pick them on down. Yeah, I want to. Our next local is going to be the long distance local. I hope you guys enjoy that. I think y'all will. It'd be a little different, right? Say a 202 one-way local, then it comes back the next day. 404-mile round trip. Mostly a feeder train, right? Like they're mostly feeding cars to the regular locals that are along the route. You know, Fordale, Fitzgerald, Oglethorpe, Manchester. You know, that's another one I'm kind of iffy on. I know for a fact I made many set outs in Manchester on through trains. And I kind of think back then at that point, the 723, 724 was turning at Brownstand and they were letting through trains take care of the set outs and pickups at Manchester. So Because this, let's face it, 723, 724, long distance local, even though they're a feeder train, they had a hell of a time getting over the railroad in 12 hours. They had a super hard time getting over the railroad in 12 hours. I think they were going dead all the time. So at least back then. So it could be a deal where they just went ahead and took the Manchester stuff off of them to try to ease up their workload a little bit and let them turn it brown sand, maybe. Like I said, I've seen it with Manchester cars on it before, but I know I've set out a ton of stuff in Manchester before off the 544. Big cuts. I've done it, and the Fitzgerald crews did it. So basically on the 544, what happened, that's Fitzgerald train, they recrew in Fitzgerald. It was out of Waycross, they recruited Fitzgerald. Those dudes were all the time going dead too. Man, they could never make it to Atlanta. Never make it to Atlanta. So basically what would happen is they would run that thing up the railroad and they would just call a crew at Manchester, one of our extra board crews, to get it. Or roster call if the extra board was exhausted. I need you to recruit 544 in Manchester. So, and they would still be on line of road too. They wouldn't even be dead. They would just be getting short on time. Say okay, and I remember this conversation. I've had this conversation with them many times. You be in the yard office getting ready to get your paperwork ready to go. 544 crew would come in. I remember one time in particular, dude's like, got your set out already made. Like he was so happy and excited he did me a favor, which I appreciate it, right? He did do me a favor. He's like, your set out has been made. It's the last thing we did. We had just enough time. Which was a huge, like, he didn't have to do that. He could have just been like, you know what, we're too close on time. We're not going to do it. Let the outbound crew set it out, right? But they were making regular set outs in Manchester. Big set outs. I will say they had a lot of those GP log cars on them, that sort of stuff. So they did that. They set out in Manchester. 592 set out in Manchester from time to time. GP high cubes, and I want to say 541 was picking up in Manchester. So I think when that was going down, I don't think 723, 724 was coming into town. Just my assumption, right? Take it with a grain of salt. It could be something I forgot. You know, like it's not the gospel. But it could have gone down that way. At least I think it could have gone down that way. I don't remember a 723, 724 train anywhere in that yard. And I worked the 720 a lot. And I don't remember that train sitting around down there. Like, I don't remember the power sitting in there. I don't remember the train sitting around. I don't remember seeing much rock and sand hoppers in the yard. I think the 723, 724, like I said, they did that stuff at Brown Sand. But who knows? That was 25 years ago. It's hard to find that information and be certain on that, you know. So we'll adjust it and see. Either way, it's going to be fun because we're going to be a feeder train. We're going to have 3 or 4 4-axle power on the head end, and we're probably going to work a few outlying industries as well too that wasn't really covered by any of the locals, right? Every once in a while there's outlying industries that were kind of a once in a blue moon switch, so they weren't really served by the local or in their limits. Yeah, we gotta keep on shoving. It just, operations like this fascinate me. If you haven't been able to tell, I like the logistics of moving stuff around, you know. If there was a train blocking and power desk simulator, I would probably be all about it. I probably just would. I really just would. I like the logistics of figuring this stuff out, right? Like, we don't have much power sitting down in the service center there, but we do have some here. That's 606. That's some good looking power too. The SDs in there. SD50s would be nice, right? I think that would be really cool. Have some SD50s in the game. There we go. Got 515. Looking good. Looking very dapper in that dark future scheme there. Got some we got some DPUs down in here somewhere. We're going to get rid of these stacks. Never saw double stacks Tropicanas like when I did it. It's fine, right? It's the way it was back then. It's completely different now, but we're going to get rid of that. we'll probably just pick that train up, copy it, delete all that stuff out, delete it off the track, and then just drop it back down. Modified, right? What are these cars? Just do all ramp. Charleston? I'm not sure on that. What train is that? What train is bringing stacks up in here? I don't know. Nice propaganda cut too. Yeah, we'll get rid of the stacks. We don't need those. This guy should. This gives you an idea of like how short our train is, right? He's not very long. It just gives you an idea of how short these tracks are too. We pulled 3 cuts. This is three bowl tracks worth of cars right here. Keep shoving them on down. It'll be all right. You can have a small train. At least back then you could. Not everything. Not everything has to be 100,000 feet long, you know, as like PSR standards nowadays. It's like we want 2 guys and 250,000 feet of train for these 2 guys. You know, it's ridiculous. I'm not a fan. It's all about getting rid of the crew, right? Like they wanted to get rid of the 2-man crew so bad. The railroads have chomped at the bit for years, for decades. Getting it down to a 1-man crew, right? They want it down to a 1-man crew, just the engineer, get rid of the conductors, the dumbest damn thing ever. And, you know, they're fought tooth and nail on that. People say it's not safe. It's eliminating jobs, you know. It kills me how companies don't want to, they don't want people to work. Basically, right? Like they don't want people to work. The same people that's going to be turning around and using their services to haul goods that people are buying and doing stuff with, but they don't want no one to work. So like, who's going to be able to buy the stuff that they're hauling because no one's working? But either way, I digress. They wanted to get rid of the 2-man crew, right? And they got fought tooth and nail on that, and they're like, you know what? We're going to half the trains in. If we can't get a 2-man crew, we're going to eliminate the number of people that we want to get rid of by halving the number of trains and doubling them up together. And so there's still a 2-man crew on the trains, but they got rid of half the crews, right? Half the starts because they just doubled everything up or tripled it up. You know? 15, 16, 17,000 foot trains. I mean, right? Does that make sense? I mean, do you guys agree with that? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I mean, that's another, you know, it's another money thing like the remotes. Another money thing. Railroads don't want to employ anyone. There's a lot of companies. Actually, a lot of companies don't want to employ people. They like making the money, but they don't want to offer good jobs for people to be able to make that money and spend it in turn, which in turn helps their business, right? Like the railroads would want as many people employed in consuming and manufacturing as they can because they're benefiting from that by hauling all that stuff. But it just blows my mind, right? 5-man crews back in the day. And two now. I don't know. It just kills me. Kills me what they did to it, right? They don't want anyone to work. Like they really just don't. They don't want anyone to work. They don't want to switch. They don't want to move things. They just want to haul containers with 1 guy. That's like their dream. Man, they would... I was going to say something. I'm going to stop. We'll stop before I have to say something that I have to edit out or bleep. But yeah, that would be like their ideal dream would be to move nothing but containers with 1 dude. That would be perfect for them, right? They would absolutely love that. That thing rolling backwards there. All right, let's get a couple handbrakes on the head in here. Yeah, nothing but container trains and 1 engineer, and they would be all about that, man. They would be so happy with that. They would love that. They absolutely would. That would be like railroading utopia in their eyes. Let's take a little slack here. There you go. All right, let's take him ahead. Come on. Oh. Go. You know, the crazy thing is like railroading. That used to be like a highly sought after job. I kind of always looked at it like being an engineer, especially back in the steam days, the steam engine days. We're talking 20s, 30s, 40s, before airline, you know, airliners, you know, airline aviation, that sort of thing. I looked at like an engineer, a steam engineer was kind of akin to an airline pilot back then. Like, it was kind of a big deal, right? It wasn't something just anyone did. I'd like to think they were pretty good paying back then. I don't know. I've never figured it up, like the salary from the 20s to compared to now, you know, with inflation and all that. But I'd like to think it was a pretty decent job. Yeah, I'd like to think it was a decent job. All right, let's we got to get this guy all the way up here. Takes time to build trains, especially when you one-man crew, right? Now we got to grab these Cincinnatis. Actually, we'll grab the Atlantas, come over to the Cincinnatis, and come over to the Cincinnatis, and get this 544 here. Man, it's going to take us a hot minute to get down here. Oh, he's 28 mile an hour too. Man, he's flying down that yard track. Yeah, we're going to get run off, guys. We're going to get run off. We're going to get a letter. We're going to get a letter. Have to have the union rep for us. We're like, sir, why were you doing 28 mile an hour down our, what is this here? Or F10. I'd be like, because we're trying to get to the other end. That's why we're going so fast. We're trying to get to the other end of the yard. What would it look like up here at A Tower? We're up here at A Tower. Nice. It's a nice view. Stood there before. It's a cool view. It's really cool. It's impressive to stand out here and watch that. See everything that's going on. All right, let's keep going. Man, Spurs done gotten to a tirade about about the railroad workforce. I just always said I railroaded. I did this job, and like I said, I did it briefly. It didn't take me long before I had to pull the pin. I was like, yeah. You know, when you're constantly fighting for your money and you're constantly tired and got all this, like, you're constantly under threat of being fired because no company wants to fire the employees more than railroad. But yeah, I pulled the pin real quick. But always said I did it about 20 or 30 years too late. Man, if I could have hired out late 70s, early 80s, that'd have been great. That was like the golden age, I think, to work. After that 82 agreement, they kind of sold everyone out. That's when they started getting rid of the 5-man crews. So pre-82. Pre-82 would have been nice. All right, so we got to go all the way down, back through that crossover, and we got to come into this track here. This guy. Get this guy right here. Oh, we cross over right here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop, stop, stop. Stop, stop. Right here, perfect, right? Wait. We are going. Is that going right? Wait a minute. We may not be. Let's reanalyze this here. Yeah, we just cross over right here. Go through this crossover right here. First independent. Come on back. Grab those Atlantas. We're going to put them on the bottom. All right. So, you know, when you build trains, sometimes, you know, I think the most predominant thing is to have set outs on the head end, right? Like that's super, super common. Have your set outs right there behind locomotives so, you know, the crews can get to it really easy and do their thing. But on this particular train, they put the set out on the bottom. So just go in the yard, cut your bottom off, rehang your EOT, and then going about your business, right? You gotta slow down. Spur's getting way. Spur would get run off out of the yard within a few hours. Like all it would take is a few hours to get me gone. Yeah. There you go. That's good. So yeah, this cut goes on the bottom. That's why we're grabbing it first. That's why we're grabbing it first. We're gonna go and take this cut out of here. Man, I still wish it was louder. I want to hear it booming in my headphones, right? I want to feel it in my eardrums. You know, I want my eardrums to vibrate. I mean, I could like turn it up super loud, but it's just not loud in the game, right? Like it's just not. We're getting really. I told you we're going to get fired. We're going to get fired. We're at least at a minimum we're going to have an investigation because it's kind of hard to get fired from the railroad. Let's face it. Let's be honest. It's a little bit hard to get run off from the railroad. That's good and bad. Right, so you can't just get fired for any little thing, but the downside to that is the people that need to be fired, they don't ever get run off. Like, you know, if you work for the railroad, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so next cut's gonna be Cincinnati's, these Cincy's right here. A little light independent on them there. There we go. Come on. Nice. All right, let's shove on back to a coupling here. Catch up. There we go. Man, these make good shoving platforms, right? That and reefers. Like these reefers made the best shoving platforms. And they were really nice in the wintertime too, because the exhaust. They blew that hot air out. There, let's make about one big one to a coupling. We'll check it out in a second. We'll gather all this up and then we'll see what we got. Hop down. Cool. Independent, slow her down a little bit. About 20 feet. That slack run out. Hallelujah. All right, let's take let's knock the handbrakes off all of them. And knock the independent off. Let's take this guy ahead. All right, well, I wanted to 192, take my head. Take a blue switch. That will get these Tropicanas out of here. So back then there were Tropicanas going to Cincinnati, but those went on the head end of 144 piggyback train. They stick them on the head end of him. I think I was the only pig they were running at the time. I want to say at the very end they put on like a was that train like a 198 or something like that. It was kind of weird and it didn't last very long. I want to say that was like an Atlanta service, Jacksonville to Atlanta service or something like that. But yeah, the Tropicanas went on the head end of the four. Let me start over. The Tropicanas went on the head end of the 144. They came back on the Q213, which was an auto rack train, but they would stick the Tropicanas on there too. Then they would just trickle back, right? Like this wasn't a dedicated unit train. They would just trickle up there, a few a day. And a few would come back a day on the 213. 213 went to it went to Tampa back then. It went to Tampa. Hey, come on, bro. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. We got a good bit to pull out of here. Let's keep going, bro. There we go. So yeah, Tropicanas, Cincinnati. There were no Tropicanas going to LA back then. That wasn't a thing. And then you had Tropicana train to New Jersey, wherever that place is up there that like the main train went to. Keep pulling. Way back in the day, it was an R250. That's what the symbol for that train was. I want to say that changed about the time the Conrail merger. Alright, so we got to go back over. Yeah, we got to grab this cut right here is what we got to get. We got to go all the way down to here. Man, I'm working this bowl like in real life. You'd have to have your head on such a freaking swivel in here, man. Cars silently rolling around all over the place. Trim jobs doing their thing. Like there's so much stuff going on down here. Highly dangerous. Highly dangerous job. Like I said, nothing worse than cars rolling along really slow because they barely make any noise. Like they're just quiet as hell. Nice. Got those good looking ADM syrup cars, right? Those things look good. Petroleum cars, like LPG, maybe. I should do right here. Get that. Alright, we'll just catch up. Alright, switch is lined in the clear. Go back about 5-2 coupling. Would help to release the independent spur. There we go. Yeah, we're going to do this 724. I've got some tweaking on that to do though before we run that job. Grenadier rocket would be another good one. Run it down to Grand Junction, turn it, come back, work Folkestone, come back to Waycross, back in the yard. That'd be a fun one. You're right. Those are Cincinnati's. What is that next track over there? I can't tell. Can't tell. We got to get back to Emmett Henry. We got to finish his freshman year out, guys. We got to do his bowl game, and then we got to hit that transfer portal. Like, overwhelmingly, you guys said in the poll to hit the transfer portal. Basically, y'all were saying Appalachia State sucks. That's another. Is there? There's 3 tracks to Cincinnati's. Okay, never mind. Yeah, let's hop down before we make that joint. Go. Boom. All right, let's take my head. Gotta be careful doing that. I don't want to get a knuckle. Letting that slack whip out like that while I'm pulling the other direction. All right, one more. Yeah, one more cut to grab, and then we can get out of here. What are we hanging on to? This seems a bit weighty here. Almost 5,000 tons, 4,400 feet. That's pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty decent. It'll probably be about 5,000 feet when we're done with it. So that's a good train. That's a good train for back then. Absolutely. 45 empties, 26 loads. So we got more empties going north than we do loads. So that's good. That's pretty legit. Yeah, that's pretty legit there. I was gonna say, can we see if we're clear down there? It doesn't look like it, right? I have no clue. Maybe getting close. Oh, we got a little ways to go here. Yeah, we got a little ways. Yeah, we got to finish up Emmett's career. I got to see if I can get him on a better team. Someone suggested Alabama. I mean, even though Emmett's the greatest running back in the history of college football, at Alabama, he would be like 4 or 5 deep, his, coming into his sophomore year. I don't want to have to position battle through all that. That would be a pain. It'd be the practice simulator then. We wouldn't get much play time. Speaking of Alabama, did you guys watch any of the games this weekend? Alabama got upset. Texas got upset. Not surprised. Really, I'm not surprised about either of those, to be honest. Let's just face it. I'm not surprised either of those. Oklahoma got upset too, right? Welcome to the SEC. The SEC don't play. I hate to be that way, and I'm a Texas fan. I even pull for Oklahoma. Like, I don't really like. I'm not diehard anyone right now. I don't think. I just like to just enjoy. Not get caught up too much in that other stuff. I did that for years. Maybe not enjoy it, right? Like getting torqued over that stuff, but SEC is no joke. It's no joke. Yeah, Texas lost. Alabama lost, of course. They lost to Tennessee. It does it. I feel like Alabama's kind of a glass cannon, right? Like they have pretty good. They have good offense. I like their quarterback a lot, Milroe, but their defense is definitely not a Saban team anymore, right? Like the Saban era is done. Is done. Long gone. Anyone that thinks that like someone else is going to come in there and pick up exactly where he left off, come on, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. So yeah, is the time of big power defense at Alabama done? I kind of wonder. Kind of think so. They might become one of those shootout teams where it's like who scores first and that, and who scores last. Like I don't know. I don't think you're going to see any more games where it's like Alabama beats LSU, 6-3. I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. Man, we're hanging on to a good bit here. Yeah, we're hanging on to a good bit. So as far as who Emmett goes to, I have no clue. We'll have to look and see who's available. Who wants this? I kind of want to go to a smaller team again, right? I just want to go to a good one. Like a good team that can throw the ball. Could you imagine a team that's like really good at throwing the ball and then pair that with Emmett? Like they wouldn't know what to do. They're going to defend the run or they're going to defend the pass, right? Like what are they going to do? You know, because they're going to get burned by both. And that wasn't the case at Appalachia State. They couldn't throw the ball for Jack. They really just couldn't. That quarterback sucked. He was all time throwing picks. And if he wasn't throwing picks, our receivers were dropping all the time. Like it really just sucked. I'm like, man, come on, throw me a bone. I had high hopes too. I don't know why. It's Appalachian State, but some of those games, like what we dropped what 4? We lost to Clemson. We lost to a no name. I can't even tell you who it was. We lost. Who did we lose to? We lost 4 though. 2 of those I felt like we should have won. Like I absolutely do. 2 of those I felt like we should have won. Like we could have beat Clemson. If we could have thrown the ball a little bit more, we could have beat Clemson. We absolutely could have. So we'll see. It's just Emmett's freshman year, right? It's Emmett's freshman year. He's got a lot of work to do. He's like 85 overall, I think, already. I think he started out 81. He's 85 now, coming out. Number 2 in total rushing, at least the last time I looked. We got again. He's about 1,500 yards. So he's probably about 1,600 yards for the year right now with 300 carries. He's had a lot of touches, right? He's carried the ball a lot. Average maybe 4 or 5 yards per carry. But I mean, he's a power back, right? And he likes running between the tackles. He's not elusive back. He doesn't have those big explosive plays. Like he just grinds those yards out like Derrick Henry. Man, I saw he had a big run the other day in his game, like 80 something yards. Like, man, that dude was going. He went around the outside too. He's a big dude. 6'3", 245. At least he was in college. I don't know what he is now. Oh, he may have packed a few pounds on since he's going to the NFL, you know. But either way, dude's a beast. Absolute beast. Man, Emmitt Smith used to ground those yards out too, like no tomorrow. Let's come out of the power here. Get over. All right, about half car, half. 20 feet. 10 feet. That'll do. Nice. All right, I think that's it, guys. I think this is our last cut, right? For our Cincy's. Cincinnati's, not Cincy's, but Cincinnati's. Pittsburgh goes crazy over some Cincy's, let me tell you. All right, release handbrakes. Yeah. I wish you would put handbrakes on all of them in the bowl like that. All right, I wish they were free rolling, ready to go. All right, what do we got? Because this is most definitely weighty. 0.5 HPT. 34 load, 61 empty, so predominantly empty. That's good. 5,900 feet, 6,000 feet, 6,000 tons. She's still pretty heavy. She's decent, right? Keep going with it. I remember having a slot crate one time. I was working with my favorite engineer of all time. The guy was awesome. Always had such good fun trips with him. We had trained one time. It was 2 647s. It was a regular 647, a Q, and an S. Running back to back. They get to Birmingham, they combine them because we were so short of crews on the lineable stuff that they couldn't keep them separate. So they combined them. It wasn't like it was a monster train, right? It's like 7,000 feet, maybe 10,000 tons. So, I mean, you know, definitely a respectable train from back then for a slot crate. It absolutely was. I remember my engineer thinking, man, that thing's stout. We had no dynamics. Every time we set up dynamics, it would kick them off and give us an alarm, a bell. I can't remember what was wrong with them, but we couldn't use them. And so, my engineer ran it with air. I was like, can you run it with air? He's like, I'm going to try. So we did. We took it with air. We took it with air the whole way. Didn't have any dynamics. All right. So what track? Shove this bad boy. What track is empty? Okay, so I know this one right here is, yeah. I think this second out one right here is what we'll go. We'll go with this on the right. There, it'll be super easy to get to. This one here, there we go. That one's already lined for us. So all we gotta do is catch this switch down here. We're good to go. Nice. We can do that. Last move. We're gonna call it, guys. Last move. You dragging these out of here. That's a decent train, guys. That's a decent train. Did they always grab multiple cuts at one time? I don't think so. I think they did it cut by cut, move by move, right? Because it is kind of a lot to hang on to. You know, when you're working in a busy bowl and it's got like 2, 3, 4 trim jobs working at one time, it's a lot. Like, it ties up a lot when you move these big cuts like this. But as far as like one man in a game, away we go. Working that 2-man crew like a dog. I do some more Chinook stuff too. I really enjoy that chopper. She's weird. She's weird to fly. She doesn't fly like I thought she would. Man, I should have probably put some air on at least the first few cars on this thing. I think we should have put some air on it. Like, lace up 10 cars, ahead 10 cars and put a little air on there, you know? We'll be all right. We'll get it stopped. This is when you need triple class brakes on your trim power, right? Those extra brake shoes. Brake cylinders. And yeah, she's struggling out. Yeah, she's a big cut. That's a big cut to be working in the bowl. There you go. Can't just get one side of the crossover. It's a huge no-no. If you want to get run off real fast, just do one, right? Get both sides. And we're lined. Switches lined in the clear. Shove on back. Spot this bad boy up. Come on, sometime today. Come on. Trying to think, how could I do this? Gotta take up all that slack. Took a hot minute. I think we might could just hit the counter. Hit the counter as soon as we hit the switch. Come on, sometime today, please. What we're doing here? Yeah, yeah, that's a good cut. We're way on out there. Let's pull those down. We don't need them anymore. Train stats either. Let's close all that out. There we go. Come down to the other end. Yeah, I know you guys left comments too about saving your views, saving your camera position. So I always forget that, right? Like, I never, and even when I do remember it, I don't remember what the key commands were for it. Like, I have to make it like an actual effort to make that happen. Right now we're cooking. Just make doubly sure we shove it in the right track, because if we shove it in the wrong, let's say we accidentally go in this one right here, there ain't no stopping it. Like, we're gonna have a mess. We'll be clean up on aisle 10. Yeah, we won't have a mess. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're lying in the right track, but if we weren't, it would be a bad day. All right, now we should. Let's go ahead and we'll count it down. That's another thing. I never remember to count it down. Shift, right shift, whatever this is, asterisk on the numpad. I never, ever think to actually, no, we cannot do that because I'm not counting the length of the train. I'm counting the distance that I want to go into the track. So that's not going to work. Let's count up. Track's going to be, what? 9279, so we're going to shove in about 9,000 feet. All right, we're going to shove in about 9K. Yeah, we got a little ways to go, guys. We got a cub over there. They told him to stay on the they told him to stay on the train. Just get up on the train. Don't bother us. It's hard cubbing. Not exactly easy. Some guys don't want to fool with you, right? They don't want to teach you anything. Most were good. Most were great. But there's definitely some that were annoyed having you around. I was never told to stay on the cab though, so I guess I was lucky in that. Yeah, that's a good size cut. Yeah, we should do it by track, right? Not just gathering all of it and going, that's a lot of train. A lot of train to be slinging around in the yard with one locomotive. And these SDs are great on trim job. I know one time they had B30s down here. I wonder how that worked out. I bet that sucked like no tomorrow. That 3,000 horsepower on 4 axles. Crap wheel slip control. Our distance wise, 1,600. Yeah, we got a ways to go, guys. We got some ways to go. Hopefully we're not shoving into anything. Doing this blind shove here. I'd say a tower protect our shove, but there's no one up there, unfortunately. They have shove lights on the tracks. I don't know if they specifically had. I'm pretty certain they probably had that down there. They had them in boils. Damn, the alert's going off. Yeah, man, I want to see a sky dome so bad. Nice sky domes. I'm telling you now, it would change the look of the game so much. Just that. Just that. It would be like night and day. It'd be really good. A nice sky dome, man. It'd be like a whole different experience. We're not make sure that's right. Yep. So we're what, 6,000 feet, a little over, yeah, about 6,000 feet, 600 tons. So when we get the engine hits the switch, we're gonna have about 3,000 feet left, give or take. Yeah. Then we got to get power on all this stuff. We probably won't today. We may just have an episode where we work a hostler job. Honestly, that may be a good, just like, that's all we do, right? We gather up all our power, just take it out there, break it up, and then put it on each train that we need. Here we'll go way back in the day. Manchester used to have a hostler job, believe it or not. That was a lot bigger yard. Like what you see in game is nothing compared to what it used to be. Like it used to have a whole service facility up where the west siding's at. They had a locomotive servicing. I think they had some car repair, that sort of thing. They had a wrecker train that stayed up there. Big train. Had a hostler. There's some of the engineers that I work with, the old heads, the really old heads. Like that was some of their first jobs. Is engineer was the hostler job there. Definitely gave them good experience working their way up. Some of the guys I work with, some of the younger guys, there was one group of them that was hired specifically to be an engineer. Like they were never conductors. They were never conductors, just went straight to engineer. Like feast or famine on the railroad. It was like either you have too many people or not enough. You know, I mean, really. It seems like here lately is never enough, right? All right, almost it. Yep, we'll do a hostler job. We can do a hump job. Hump job would be a good one to do. We could do those in the next few videos while I try to get the 724 sorted out and ready. I gotta go back and fix some stuff now that I know for a fact it was 726 back in 02. All right, so we need to shove to about 9,000. Give or take. All right, that's our train right there. We're not worried about it though. We're going to keep going because we're counting off how far in the track we're going. So it's like a 9,200 foot long track, so we want to go about 9,000 feet, give or take. We'll do it completely blind. Hopefully when we stop, it'll be at the right spot. Maybe not. When I worked the paper mill job, they had a small yard there in the paper mill where we stored cars and stuff, you know, and it, gosh, I can tell you how many tracks that thing had. Maybe a dozen. I have to go back and count because I sure enough can't remember, but had a few tracks in there. I think some of them were double-ended and then it went off into a little tail track, and a lot of them on the, like, this is like, let's see, how is it oriented? It'd be like the north side of the yard were stub-ended, but they used to be double-ended. I was like, why are all these tracks stub-ended? Well, it turns out someone a long time ago shoved some cars down one of the track, and they just guessed that it were just assumed that they would fit, and they shoved through the switch at the bottom of the yard And then they made a reverse move to drag them back out. They tore out all the switches. They tore out like 2 or 3 switches down there, like, and so they just never put it back, right? They never put it back. But I gotta protect your shove. It's muy importante. We gotta be able to be sure that we can get this bad boy stopped too, like in the distance that we need to. Yeah, we gotta get this thing stopped. Geez, a lot for one locomotive. Like I said, we could lace up a few of those first cars and put some air on them and have a little bit more braking effort. A bunch of plastic pellet cars over there on the left. Yeah, it's nice doing something other than road freights. We do it so much, right? And I don't want to get stale for you guys, and I definitely don't want to get stale for me. Because like if you're not enjoying gaming, then there's no point in doing it. You know, I won't ever do anything just for the sake of doing it. I got to enjoy it. That's why I'm a variety channel, right? That's why I change things up. You know, I do something for a while, I get tired of it, and I move on to something else. Doesn't mean I'm not going to come back. You know, I just can't do the same thing over and over again. I know there's YouTubers out there, like, all they do is like play Arma or Squad or both those, or War Thunder. Play War Thunder exclusively for years. Some people only play Fortnite. I can't do that. I can tell you wholeheartedly, like, if that's the sum total of what I did for this channel, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be doing it. I like to me, the best part of a gaming channel is being to experience different games and share that with other people. You know, it's like I'm not gonna bust out, you know, My Little Pony adventures for you guys. It's not like that extreme. Right? Like, we still kind of stay within the realm of simulation or something like that. You know, I mean, NCAA 25, that's a football simulation. You know, I mean, think about it. First-person shooters, simulating combat, flight simulators, simulating being a pilot. Let's keep shoving just a little bit further. We'll try to stop her about 9,000 feet. Alright, a little independent here. Don't want to do too much. We don't want to whip all these cars out, right, with the slack. And we don't want to slide the wheels either. That's another thing. Like, you can't have flat spots in game, but nothing sucks worse than having locomotives got a bunch of flat spots on the wheels. It's super annoying. We get 9,000. No, we stopped just a little bit short. Just here. Oh, we're still kind of shoving a little bit here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it. We're not splitting hairs. We're not splitting hairs. All right, let's hop down. And make this cut. Actually, I need to go down to the other end. Get us a handbrake. 1, 2. Those bounce hoppers suck. I might would just put one extra one on it just for good measure. Those things, brakes on those things always suck. So there we go. All right, we'll make our cut. Call it, guys. A little slack here. All right, take him ahead. She's in neutral, dang it. Come on. There we go. Sweet. All right, let's get him, let's get him on his way. He's got a ways to go. I don't want that trim job hid down here in the bowl. Let's let him do his thing. All right, let's check it out. Oof, yeah, that's a little close. That's a little closer than what I wanted. A little close. I didn't quite calculate that out. I mean, we're safe, right? We didn't get through the switch, but wish I'd left a little bit more room for power on that. Yeah. So 592, we'll probably put 2 units on it. Not to be anything crazy. 544, maybe 3 units on it. Something like that. Let's see. Russells, those are yeah, I'm not done with those. Nashville cars here. We'll probably put 2 or 3 units on the head end of it too. We could do 2. You can do as low as 0.7 HPT. Really, like if it's going to be under 1, it needs to be AC power. You burn your traction motors up in game. So we'll try to keep it about 1 or above, a little north of that. Selkirk's, we'll have to get him ready to go. We don't have any Rocky mounts to put on that. We could though. Well, we got a good bit of the yard figured out. We need to pull this track. The Moncriefs need to go. Need to get a 457 ready, yeah. 457, what is this track? Tampa's definitely need to go. Winston's need to go. Just trying to really need to focus on the tracks that are full. Your Nolans. Yeah, there's a few more we got to get. I don't know if we'll do that or not, but we'll see. It's a never-ending process. We could do 50 bazillion videos just working this yard, like we really just could. So yeah, next one, Hostler job. All right, let's do a check here, see what we got again. So 2 of these for 592. 2 of these for 544. Might slap that bad boy on there. Something kind of different, right? We've got local power there. Anything else? Butthead. Got some power in the shop here. Doing their inspection. So yeah, we could take those out if we need to. Man, he's flying again. Why are you flying, dude? You're gonna get run off. Let's stop him down here in front of the B tower. I'll pull him down here, stop him. Yeah, so we got plenty of work to do, right? Next video, Hostler job. Next video, Hostler job. Next video after that hump, we'll work the hump. And Then after that, we'll probably do a local. All right, we'll do that long distance local. There we go, sweet. We'll tire down right there. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Hope y'all enjoyed. We got 2 more trains made. It's a little bit of a time-consuming process, right? Like, especially when you're doing it solo. But either way, if you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Love all of you, and we'll catch you out there next time. Peace. No, big cat, no. Oh no, kitty. Oh, that's a MiG. That's a MiG over us. Okay. It's the weirdest day ever. Oh no, he just fell. He just fell.